what we have with academic publishing and publishing in peer-reviewed academic journals are lots and lots and lots of people like you and me who, for their jobs and their careers, are needing to publish in academic journals. Are you under pressure in terms of your departments and the university requirements and so on? You are. Okay? And you sometimes feel a little bit upset about that pressure. You do. Yeah. Okay, so you like academics all over the world. Okay, so there's lots and lots and lots of people trying to get their stuff into these journals. Now, how do the journals decide who they're going to accept and who they're not going to accept? What they do is it goes to the editor of the journal, and the editor of the journal usually does a quick screen, and depending on the journal, it might be more or less stringent. Does this fit in with our journal? Does it have a chance of being published? If the journal believes that it's got a chance, the journal sends it on to reviewers. And we'll talk more about who the reviewers are, but to peer reviewers, people who've worked in a similar area to you. And it's generally anonymous. It's not so with all journals anymore, so none of the BMC journals. It's usually anonymous. So you take your name off, and your article then goes to 2 or 3 people. It's usually more, but by the time the editor needs to get 2 or 3 reports in, who will then make a comment on your article, and you'll get feedback. And your feedback, the most common feedback is rejection. The most common response, that the journal will not accept your paper, and there's nothing you can do to change it. That's the most common. Okay, and we'll talk about that. And that's the case with everyone. So lots of journals have a 95% rejection rate, which means of every 100 articles that get sent to them, only 5 will get past that first hurdle. So 95% rejection rate with some. It's different with different journals, but the most common response is rejection. And rejection doesn't feel so good, having experienced a lot of rejection myself. Okay? Then, the most unusual, absolutely the most unusual is you send something in and the journal says, we love it, we're going to publish it. That almost never, ever happens. Almost never. It does happen. It happened to one of my PhD students, and I thought, I'm never speaking to her again, because it never happens to me. But that's very rare. And then there's a small number, which is more common than acceptance, of revise and resubmit, where you get feedback and they say, change this, change that. We don't guarantee, we don't like it, but you can give it another go, and we'll talk about that. So that's generally how the system works. Unless, and we'll talk about this right at the end, you send it to what is called a predatory journal, which is not a proper journal at all, and we'll talk about that. So that's generally how the process works.